मैं आपका होस्ट और दोस्त सुनील शर्मा स्वागत करता हूं इस खूबसूरत लाइन के साथ में। ना कोई राह आसान चाहिए, ना कोई राह आसान चाहिए, ना ही हमें कोई पहचान चाहिए। ना कोई राह आसान चाहिए, ना ही हमें कोई पहचान चाहिए। एक ही चीज मांगते हैं रोज भगवान से, एक ही चीज मांगते हैं रोज भगवान से। आप सभी के चेहरे पर हर पल प्यारी सी मुस्कान चाहिए, हर पल प्यारी सी मुस्कान चाहिए। निश्चित ही इस लाइन के साथ में मुस्कान आई होगी। कितने भी देश में, विश्व में युद्ध चले, लेकिन मुस्कान जरूरी है जीने के लिए, और वो मुस्कान निश्चित ही आपके चेहरे पे आई होगी। तो इस मुस्कान भरी लाइन के साथ में मैं स्वागत करता हूँ तमाम जो यूट्यूब पे देख रहे हैं उनका। जो टॉपिक है डेंजरस एंड जो लाइफ थ्रेटनिंग वायलेशन होते हैं इन सोसाइटी, कोऑपरेटिव हाउसिंग सोसाइटी में, फायर से रिलेटेड, लिफ्ट से रिलेटेड, अनऑथोराइज कंस्ट्रक्शन होता है। तो ये तमाम विषय की जो एकदम लाइफ से रिलेटेड है आपसे, तो क्या कैसे सावधान रहें, किस तरह से अलर्ट रहें एज ए सिटीजन, वो बताने के लिए एक कानून क्या है, एमसीएस एक्ट में क्या चीजें हैं। तो आप हाउसिंग सोसाइटी में रहते हैं, तो इन चीजों से आप यदि अलर्ट हैं, आपने इस पे थोड़ा सा ज्ञान लेकर आगे फॉलो किया है, तो आप अपनी जिंदगी साथ तमाम जो लोग रहते हैं हाउसिंग सोसाइटी में उनकी जिंदगी आप बचा सकते हैं। महत्वपूर्ण टॉपिक है दोस्तों आज का। मैं इनवाइट करूंगा जो हाउसिंग सोसाइटी में जो जीवन के लिए बड़ी खतरनाक जो चीजें हो सकती है, लिफ्ट हो सकती है, फायर हो सकती है, और अनऑथोराइज कंस्ट्रक्शन जो होता है दोस्तों, हम इग्नोर करते हैं, बहुत सारे लोग इग्नोर करते हैं, और वो आगे जाके एक ने किया, दो ने किया, तीन ने किया। पीलर्स, यहाँ तक कि पीलर्स लोग जैसे लक्ष्मी छाया का जिक्र करें तो लक्ष्मीपुरी रह गई थी और उसका ओसी भी वो कन्वेंस भी नहीं था। तो बहुत आपकी जमा पूंजी से किया हुआ जो घर आप खरीदते हैं, तो आपने पूरा पैसा जीवन भर का लगा दिया घर में लेने के लिए, उसके बाद आपने थोड़ी भी सजगता, अलर्टनेस नहीं रखा है जो नागरिक सिटीजन, तो आप मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि आप गलत कर रहे हैं। और इस अलर्ट रहने के लिए, हम सजग करने के लिए नियम कायदे क्या है, एमसीएस एक्ट में क्या है, तमाम विषय आप एमसीडीएम में क्या है, आप कहाँ क्या कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल बकायदा हमारे साथ में हमारे जो एक्सपर्ट है इन तमाम मामलों के जानकार एडवोकेट धर्मिन संपत साहब वो बताएंगे। So please welcome Dharmin Sampat.
Good afternoon, friends. Today's lecture will be an insight to many members and committee members of a cooperative housing society. Today's topic is life-threatening violations in a cooperative housing society. Before I start my lecture, I would like to thank Ramesh Prabhu sir, MahaSeWA, MNS Media, Sunil ji, and No Brokerhood for inviting me to deliver my take on dangerous and life-threatening violations in a cooperative housing society. Let me first browse through the common violation, जो I'm sure आप सभी लोगों ने सुना है और बहुत लोगों से सुना है. The common violations in a cooperative housing society that you might already be aware of. Not obtaining occupation certificate. सभी लोगों को ये पता है कि OC नहीं होगा तो सबको प्रॉब्लम आ सकती है. The Supreme Court has made a statement that absence of an occupation certificate is a continuous offense. The developer has to hand over the title of the flats along with the occupation certificate. Failure to obtain the occupation certificate is termed as deficiency in service, for which the members of the society can claim compensation in consumer court. I would like to share one judgment. The civil appeal number is 4000 of 2019 in the matter of Samrudri Cooperative Housing Society Limited versus Mumbai Mahalakshmi Constructions Private Limited. In this particular matter, the Supreme Court had said that the developer was responsible for the transferring the title of the flats to the society along with the occupation certificate. The failure on the part of the developer to not obtain the occupation certificate is deficiency in service, for which the developer is liable. Thus, the members of the appellant society are well within their rights as consumers to pay for compensation arising out of the lack of occupation certificate. What is OC? OC is basically a certificate which permits you to reside in your flat and occupy it. And lack of occupation certificate will normally lead to payment of higher taxes, double the water tax, which the owner has to bear. There is one gray area of OC and lift. In my view, lift and occupation certificates are lovebirds and they cannot do without each other. Let me share one secret with you. No lift, no OC, and no OC, no license to operate the lift. सभी ने ये सुना होगा कि ओसी 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 तो सबको पता है, पर आपको ये पता है कि ओसी के बाद का जो स्टेप है वो है बिल्डिंग कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट. Yes, it's called BCC. That means your construction is complete in all aspects. This is the step which is normally done after taking the occupation certificate. Now, what does the BMC have to say about not obtaining building completion certificate? In absence of a building completion certificate, the BMC can recover penalty up to 5,000 rupees as minimum penalty and 25,000 rupees as maximum penalty. This falls under section 353A of MMC Act. If the permission to completion certificate and occupy of use, the daily fine would be 2,000 rupees and the maximum daily fine would be 10,000 rupees. Coming on to the next violation, not obtaining conveyance of property from developer. चलो मान लेते हैं कि ओसी आपका आ गया है, पर what about conveyance? Merely registration of conveyance deed is not sufficient. What you are supposed to insist for is the property card should have the name of the legal entity, which is your society. When MOFA was in existence, Section 11 of MOFA clearly stipulated that the promoter has to convey the title, etc., and that too within a specific time period. And now with RERA in place, things have become much better. There is transparency. Section 17 of RERA, Sub-Rule 2 and Sub-Rule 9 of MahaRERA states that the developer has to register a conveyance deed within 3 months of obtaining OC. So many societies in Bombay till today don't have conveyance. Merely registration of deed of conveyance and deemed conveyance is not enough. What is required is transfer of property card in the name of the legal entity. This is my personal view that instead of approaching the office of the deputy registrars and going for deemed conveyance, straight away one should go to consumer court for deficiency of service and unfair trade practice. There should be a specific prayer clause which states that the legal entity should have the name on the property card. In my personal view, one should approach the court and not the office of the DDR, as the order of the DDR can be reversed. इतना तो सभी समझते हैं कि कोर्ट का ऑर्डर है will have more value than the office of the DDR. The next violation is not obtaining audited statement of accounts and title chain of documents from the developers. There is also one very big need to frame the car parking related provisions as mentioned under 78A to 84, which I'll be sharing on the screen for your ready reference. It is observed that these are the leading violations which most of the society and its managing committee members are always talking about. पर आज मैं इसके बारे में बात नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि all these are very petty issues compared to a loss of life. In India, we are often seen that before purchase of a property, some of us do a lot of research. Some of us even make sure we get a good broker in hand. Some of us have good agents. Sometimes there is a need to ensure that the paperwork has been vetted by some advocate. We have taken some search from an advocate, etc. Even sometimes I've seen clients before making the payment have gone and checked what is their neighborhood like. They have talked with a few people around and then they have made the payment towards flat. But friends, you will be shocked to note that in spite of spending such huge amounts, your safety could be compromised. Today, let us understand something that can be dangerous to your lives and the lives of your family. Aaj ka focus hai violations that can lead to loss of life. I'm very sorry that on a Sunday afternoon, I'm sharing this very sensitive and a disturbing video, but I hope this is an eye-opener to one and all. This could have been anybody. It could have been you, it could have been me, it could have been our loved ones. Please watch the video carefully. The man is hanging himself, trying to save his life, but unfortunately, he's not able to. Perhaps this incident was due to the negligence, ignorance, carelessness, maybe lack of awareness on the part of the society and its managing committee members, or whatever the reason may be, it led to a loss of life of a human being. As per the new fire laws, the cause was due to the switchboard on the 19th floor, which led to fire in the wooden paneling inside the house. The result, a man lost his life for no fault of his, and there was a lot of material which was lost in terms of fire damage. We have often seen many news articles related to fire. Just between Kamlamin's fire incident to the very recent fire incident that took place on news yesterday. Just in the city of Mumbai itself, there have been many fire outbreaks. On or about the 22nd of January, there was a fire breakout at Sachnam Heights, Tardev, where I believe 9 people lost their life and a few were injured. One of the person, as you saw in the previous slide, was trying to save himself in one Avigna Park at Lower Parel, but unfortunately could not save his life. There was another incident which was reported in Karjun Marg in one of the residential premises on or about 28th of February 2022. It is high time we ask ourselves, what precautions can we take to ensure the safety from fire in the respective buildings? Why not try to safeguard our friends, our loved ones, our family before we go into petty issues into society and fight for the same? Let me show you the statistics as appearing from the Mumbai Fire Brigade website. Appearing on your screen are the statistics of fire that occurred in the city of Mumbai itself. And as you can see, there have been many fire outbreaks in the city of Bombay itself. Why don't we feel there is a need to regulate our norms in terms of fire? Now, coming to the reasons of fire, As per Mumbai Fire Brigade, the fire is usually caused due to short circuits. Approximately 71.4%, I repeat, 71.4% fire is due to short circuits. Hence, it is very important that everyone should ensure कि आपका electrical audit हुआ है, आपने fire audit कराया है, और ये सब आपको regular basis पे कराना है to avoid such mishaps. And this is especially for old societies. A lot of times I have noticed that old societies do not want to spend any more money. They say कि it is unnecessary expenditure. मेरे को काफी सारे लोग आके ये भी बोलते हैं इतने साल से हम रहते हैं, आज तक तो हमने कभी नहीं कराया, फिर आप क्यों आज ये खर्चा करवा रहे हो? But friends, it is very important to ensure that your life is not a joke. You have to comply with the various submissions as made down in the law. As a flat purchaser, say you have purchased the flat, it is not your fault. It is not the committee's fault कि अगर fire लग गया तो. But definitely, it is the responsibility of the committee. अगर वो post पे आना चाहते हैं, then definitely it is their responsibility to ensure that they comply with all the fire audits, all the electrical audits. Even they conduct regular fire drills, and more than just conducting, it is supposed to be ensured that people are going and attending such fire drills. It is a duty of the managing committee members to ensure they look after the welfare of the members of a cooperative housing society and society in general. Just imagine, आप अगर ये सब कराते हो, then how many lives you can save? If you are alert and if you have complied with the various provisions of law, you can do wonders. Coming to electrical audit. As per Section 3 of Bureau of Energy Efficiency Regulations Act 2009, every consumer shall first have its energy audit conducted by an accredited energy auditor within 18 months. The time interval, as you can see on the screen, which is mentioned, to conduct and the completion of subsequent energy audit shall be 3 years. So in principle, the fire audit should be conducted first within 18 months and subsequently 3 years thereafter. Now, let me tell you what are the facts about fire. I am sitting at Ghatkopar today. Approximately 11 kilometers away from where I am seated, just yesterday itself, there was a fire outbreak at Bhanduk Dreams Mall. Surprisingly, this is the second time the fire has outbreaken in this particular mall. But there is no particular authority which is taking any action over the same. Facts about fire. Just imagine, आग लगने से 7.5 minutes के अंदर it becomes more. It becomes big. You cannot turn off the blaze after 7.5 minutes. This is the saying of the fire officers of Mumbai Fire Brigade. There is literally no time to evacuate people in an orderly manner in just 7.5 minutes in hand. सोचिए 450 सेकंड है आपके पास, सबको खाली कराना है, सबको evacuate कराना है, and you have to ensure that no one has lost their lives on the way, especially during the time of panic. 7.5 minutes, in my view, is nothing. Hence, it is very important for everyone to ensure that the fire audit, fire drills, and the fire mechanism is in the right place. Hardly a few high-rise buildings are having fire lifts which are actually functional. There was a GR as far back as 2018, which stipulated that all new construction will have a fireman lift. However, the practical reality is in front of your eyes. As per CFO's officer's report, 2.2 to 3% of the high-rise buildings are having fireman lift. That is, building about 32 meters of height are only 2.3% of those high-rise which are having such lifts. Sometimes it is noticed that the firefighting equipments are not functional and people do not know how to operate them when the need arises. As per data made available, only 39.2% of the equipments, as per data made available, 39.2% equipments are not functional. In the earlier video, we saw in the incident of one Avigna Park, the equipments are not functional, which led to loss of life and serious damage of property was caused because of it. The response time of a fire brigade is 15 minutes as per protocol. But as we all know, in the city of Mumbai, the traffic has increased and there could possibly be a delay of more than 15 minutes for the fire brigade to reach your premises. Hence, it is very, very, very important for everyone to ensure that the firefighting equipments are functional and are available with the society. But hold up, that's not enough. सिर्फ होने से कुछ नहीं होता, उसे यूज करना भी आना चाहिए आपको. On a lighter note, I'm sharing one Jennifer Aniston's video at the Emmys, which is when it was not even an emergency. The video is on a lighter note, but there's one thing that we should learn is the fact that fire can be dangerous. Just having a fire extinguisher is merely not enough. As you can see, fire is refusing to shut itself up in spite of Jennifer Aniston utilizing the fire extinguisher. चलिए, being a Sunday, आज सबको मैं आप एक होमवर्क देता हूं. आज संडे है, शाम को आप डेफिनेटली बाहर जाओगे, नीचे उतरोगे, दोस्तों को मिलोगे. एक राउंड आज आप आपकी सोसाइटी में मारिए. आई वांट यू टू चेक अ फ्यू थिंग्स इन योर सोसाइटी. फर्स्टली, चेक आपके बिल्डिंग में फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर्स है कि आपके बिल्डिंग में फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर नहीं है. Secondly, आप ये चेक कीजिए whether the weight of the fire extinguisher is 2 kilograms or it is 4 kilograms. I have noticed a lot of societies use 2 kilograms fire extinguisher between all the flats on each floor. Attention of yours is drawn to the information provided by the fire authority, and you will be surprised to note कि fire extinguisher की जो lifespan होती है after use is 10 to 18 seconds only. 10 to 18 seconds only. One should insist for a fire extinguisher with at least 4 kilograms capacity to be installed on each floor. You please go today and check whether your society have complied with these norms or not. Coming to the next presentation slide, fire safety violations. As we all know, there is a national building code. Most of the flat purchasers are not aware of the fact that they are supposed to read the national building code before investing any kind of amount inside a property. This is a mandated code which needs to be followed by the building while the building is being constructed. Particularly Part 2, Section 2, 9.1.1 of National Building Code 2016 talks about the penalty for non-compliance of the building code. The same can come in the form of tax issues. The penalties and fine which are involved, there are strict penalties relating to fire norms, which also involve imprisonment. Under Section 36 of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006, the penalty could be 6 months extending to 3 years, or with a fine of 20,000 rupees, which may extend to 50,000 rupees. And for such continuous offences, further fine may be imposed, which is 3,000 rupees per day. अगर आपके सोसाइटी में कोई ये है कि सोचता है कि मैं टैंपर करके बिगाड़ दूंगा, किसी को पता ही नहीं चलेगा, well, think about it once again, and also ensure you read Section 3, subsection 4 of the Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006. ये क्या बोलता है? ये बोलता है कि no person shall damage with, alter, remove or cause any injury to any of the fire prevention and life safety equipments installed any building or part thereof, or even instigate any person to do so. Under Section 37 of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006, tampering is a cognizable offence and a non-bailable offence. Now, what about when there is absence of fire equipments? As all the societies might not be having the fire equipments in place. Most of the societies that I have visited till now don't have the firefighting equipments in place. So many high-rise buildings have fire equipments, but they're hardly functional. When inquired and asked, people often give evasive replies. Water sprinkler to hai, fire extinguisher nahi hoga to kya hoga, etc., etc. Sometimes I wonder, these members of the society are not worried for their lives here. Or even the managing committee members, why don't they take strict action over the committee and the society for not having necessary safety measures in place? Attention of yours is drawn to Section 3, subsection 1 of the Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Safety Measures Act 2006, which states that it is the liability of the owner and occupier to provide fire safety equipments. The offences and penalties as mentioned under Section 36 of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006 can lead to imprisonment for at least 6 months, which can extend to 3 years. The fine that can be levied is 20,000 rupees to 50,000 rupees, and for any continuous offence, it would be 3,000 rupees per day. चलिए, ये सब तो मैंने आपको बता दिया. जब आप एक फ्लैट परचेज करते हो, सबसे पहला इंटरेस्ट जो सभी लोगों को आता है वो है कारपेट एरिया कितना है, कितना बड़ा रूम होगा, बालकनी हमारी कितनी बड़ी है. We don't even spare the duct areas and the dry spaces which is there. But क्या आपने कभी ये ऑब्जर्व किया है कि आपके मेन रोड जो डिस्टेंस ऑफ योर बाउंड्री वॉल एंड द डिस्टेंस ऑफ योर स्ट्रक्चर के बीच में कितना स्पेस है? Do you have enough space for any kind of fire brigade to enter and take a turn smoothly? Why do we fail to observe the distance between the main boundary wall and the structure of the building? Maybe fancy lobbies and luxurious interiors, they might deviate our attention from such dangerous issues. Let me ask you, when was the last time you had ever inquired with the developer or your seller or your broker or the society the following questions? A, will the fire engine fit inside the premises during the time of fire? B, is there enough space for fire engine to take a turn when the vehicles are parked? C, can it smoothly turn on the ramps, and can it firstly take the weight of the fire engine on the ramp? Fourth, what is the mechanism of water pumping system in case of fire? No, right? Just think about it. there is a serious need to examine these facts. Sometimes, even if the builder has provided the minimum space as required under law, it has been observed that members having more than one vehicle are parking their vehicles in an illegal manner, which may obstruct the fire brigade to enter inside the premises in case of fire. It is noticed that when vehicles are improperly parked, there is a need to call the towing van and tow the vehicle away. And as you can remember, which I said, which I told you, 450 seconds is all you have for the fire to turn wild. The provision for entrance of fire engine are very clearly mentioned in DCPR 2034 and Development Control Rules 1991. In principle, minimum 4.5 meters to 9 meters space is required for a fire engine to take a turn freely. The same obviously will vary from building to building depending on the plot size. The regulations in detail are being shared with you on the screen and also in the chat box. The provision of 43(1)(b) of DC Rules 1991, the provision of Regulation 47(1) of DCPR 2034, the provision of Regulation 38(27)(2) of DCPR 1991, Regulation 37(24)(2) of DCPR 2034. Minimum space, what they have mentioned is 4.5 meters, which is required at the main entrance for the fire brigade to take a turn. Coming to the next one, the refuge area. The refuge area, in my view, is the most controversial topic in a housing society. For some reason, refuge area, which is provided by builder, is often seen which is kept locked by the society members. If it is not locked, I have seen various instances where a group of young adults have made it their chilling spot, or they have converted this entire thing into a gym or using the place as a party hall. There have been some instances where the builders have even sold these flats. The provision for refuge area are clearly mentioned in National Building Code, DC Rules 1991 and DCPR 2034. Coming to Part 3, Section 12.2.5H of National Building Code 2016, this gives provision for refuge area by stating that the building plan, when approved, shall include the details of these refuge areas. Section 44(7) of DCR 1991 defines a refuge area and states that at least one refuge area having a minimum area of 10 square meters and width of 3 meters, which should be exclusive of FSI, should be provided on the first habitable floor about 24 meters. Chapter 9, Regulation 48(8)(2) of DCPR 2034, the buildings having more than 32 meters in height shall have a refuge area of at 24 meters or on the first habitable floor, whichever is higher. Refuge area shall have 4% habitable floor area and it serves that it will be free of FSI. In case of building above 32 meters of height, terrace of the building can also be treated as a refuge area. Let me share one very interesting case with you. In the matter of God's Gift Tower Cooperative Housing Society versus BMC, in the year 2006, the BMC had to demolish one of the flats. I believe the flat number was flat number 803, where as the builder had not provided any refuge area, the BMC had gone ahead and demolished the same. We talk about the notice of non-compliance of notice. Rule 9(2) of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Rule 2009, the time given to the owner-occupier for complying the fire norm shall not exceed 120 days. Just imagine, आपके पास 4 महीने हैं to comply with the norms as mentioned in the notice of non-compliance. और आप सभी को पता है सोसाइटी में डिसीजन लेना और उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करना easily takes more than 4 months. Let us understand what are the fire safety requirements. Back in the day, do you all remember when we were in school, we used to have regular fire drills so that it could educate us. As children, we were taught what should be done in case of a fire mishap. The fire officers used to come and demonstrate the line of action in case of fire. How many of us are staying in a high-rise or any regular building to comply with these norms and conduct regular fire drills? In my view, there are hardly few societies who are doing the same. I have come across so many societies that they have told me कि fire drill क्या होता है, कोई आता नहीं है, etc. etc. But friends, let me tell you, अगर आप मैनेजिंग कमेटी मेंबर हो या सेक्रेटरी हो, ये पूरा ब्लेम आपके ऊपर आ सकता है. तो इट इज इंपॉर्टेंट टू नोट कि ये फायर ड्रिल आप कंडक्ट कराते हैं और ये फायर ड्रिल मिनिमम ट्वाइस होना चाहिए पूरे साल में. Now the laws which are governing the fire drills. Part 4, Annexure D3.1 of National Building Code 2016. It states that the drills have to be conducted at least once in 3 months for the building which are 2 years old, and the fire drill shall be conducted once every 6 months. That means in a year आपका 2 fire drill होना चाहिए अगर आपकी building 2 साल के ऊपर है तो. Fire drill के लिए, all you have to do is call the firefighting officers. You call them, they come in, they train themselves, they train all the members of the society themselves. वैसे तो हम सभी ने देखा रहेगा कि हमारे सोसाइटीज में काफी सारी पार्टीज ऑर्गेनाइज होती है, हम सेलिब्रेट करते हैं काफी सारे फेस्टिवल्स. हम अभी होली आने वाली है, हम ऑर्गेनाइज करेंगे होली पार्टीज. हम लंच और डिनर्स भी ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं इंडिपेंडेंस डे पे, अपने रिपब्लिक डे पे, एक्सेट्रा. काफी सारा पैसा हमारा कल्चरल फंड्स ऑफ द सोसाइटी में भी चले जाता है. देन व्हाई नॉट स्पेंड सम टाइम एंड मनी फॉर फायर ड्रिल्स एंड फायर ऑडिट्स? Why shouldn't the society ensure that every member has to actively participate in the fire drills? कभी भी आग जो लगेगी वो आपके और मेरे शक्ल देख के नहीं लगने वाली है. It will not identify the humans or any other living being. It will just spread. As humans, it is your duty to ensure you curtail that kind of fire. The fire audits. The fire audit has become a norm which needs to be followed by every society. Part 4, Annexure E7C of National Building Code 2016 says the fire audit has to be conducted twice a year for a building having a height of more than 15 meters. हमारे बायलॉ में भी इसका उल्लेख किया गया है. बायलॉ नंबर 76C, the society shall undertake to carry periodical fire audit of its property as per the state fire policy and maintain the record thereof. अगर मान लो आपकी सोसाइटी कहती है कि हमने ये सब करा दिया है, आप जाके आपके सेक्रेटरी को पूछिए. So friends, do not feel that you cannot obtain the information. As per bylaw number 141/14, the society has to maintain such records of fire audit in a particular register. अगर आपको ये कॉपी नहीं दी जाती है तो एज अ मेंबर अंडर bylaw number 171, you can make an application to obtain the certified true copies of the fire audit report by paying the prescribed fee which is mentioned under bylaw number 171. सेफली प्रिज्यूमिंग आप 1,000 रुपए का चेक सोसाइटी के नाम पे दे दो और 171 बायलॉ में आप आपका सर्टिफाइड ट्रू कॉपी ऑब्टेन कर सकते हैं. I'll also give you what is the right of a member. A right of a member in Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act and rules is that you have under section 154B8, every member can make payment of fees and take a certified true copy and inspect the documents free of cost. All you have to do is inform your society a couple of hours or a couple of days earlier. एंड नॉर्मली सोसाइटी ऑफिसेज संडे को चालू रहती है. आप संडे को जाके विजिट करके खुद के अपनी आंखों से इंस्पेक्ट कर सकते हैं. इफ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड कि फायर ऑडिट कहां से करा है, यू कैन डेफिनेटली गो ऑन टू द महाराष्ट्र फायर सर्विसेज वेबसाइट. देयर आर लिस्ट ऑफ एजेंसीज व्हिच आर ऑथराइज्ड टू डू सो. कॉल एनी वन ऑफ देम एंड जस्ट हायर देम एंड कीप देम इन द लूप. अब फायर एजेंसीज आपके लिए क्या क्या करेगी? जब वो आएंगी वो एक ऑडिट कंडक्ट करेंगे. आपके लिए एक फायर फाइटिंग सिस्टम एनालिस्ट प्रिपेयर करेंगे कि आपका इवैक्यूएशन और एलिवेशन क्या है, वाटर स्टोरेज किधर है, फायर पंप हाउस किधर है, वाटर स्प्रिंकलर्स कैसे है, होने चाहिए नहीं होने चाहिए. फिर वो डिटेक्ट करेगी आपके फायर डिटेक्शन एंड अलार्म सिस्टम. जब आप इवैक्यूएट करना चाहते हो और दूसरे मेंबर्स को इंटीमेट करना चाहते हो, तब सबसे पहले आप इंटीमेट करोगे बाय टचिंग द फायर अलार्म सिस्टम. प्लीज मेक श्योर दैट दिस फायर अलार्म सिस्टम इज वर्किंग. Then they will ensure that they are checking the adequacy and deployment of fire extinguishers, which is as per the BIS standard. They will also check whether the extinguisher needs to be refilled or not. बहुत बार ये देखा गया है कि सोसाइटी का फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर सालों से यूज हुआ नहीं है, एक पीछे स्टिकर लगा देते हैं और उसका डेट एक्सटेंड कर देते हैं. फ्रेंड्स, कभी कभी ये फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर्स नहीं चलते. और जैसे मैंने आपको पहले बताया, इंफॉर्मेशन जो आई है महाराष्ट्र फायर सर्विसेज से कि 10 से 18 सेकंड के बीच में ये खत्म हो जाता है. So please do not take this lightly. Coming on to the next thing that the audit agency is going to help you out with is going to be a passive fire protection and segregation of power cables and data cables. This is very, very important because like I told you, the majority of the fire is because of short circuit. At the time of emergency, they also have a management and life safety system such as emergency exit, approach roads, clearance, emergency lights, ventilations, etc. You will be shocked to note, बॉम्बे में इतनी सारी सोसाइटीज होने के बावजूद 3% of the societies have submitted their fire audit in this January 2022. 3%, and that's about it. What you have to do to ensure you have complied with the fire norms is there are two certificates that in principle you have to take care of. That is Form A and Form B. Every society and every building has to maintain Form A and Form B in particular. There was a circular issued by the Maharashtra Fire Services in 2015, White Circular number MFS/2015/10/1600, which is issued in the year 2015. That 6-month certificate has to be provided in the month of January and in the month of July by the owner or the occupier as mentioned in Form B. Rule 4 of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006 and Rules 2009 clearly state that certificate has to be issued by the license agency as per Form A. As per Section 3, Bracket 3 of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006, it is the responsibility of the owner or the occupier to provide the certificate twice a year to the CFO. CFO is Chief Fire Officer. January और जुलाई में CFO को ये प्रोड्यूस कीजिए और आपका सैंक्शन लेके जाइए. Then there is inspection by fire department. We all are aware of the fact that before builder completes the construction, the chief fire officer has to come for inspection and has to ensure that the fire norms are complied with. Section 5, Bracket 1 of Maharashtra Fire Prevention and Life Safety Measures Act 2006 state that the CFO or the nominated officer will give a 3 hours notice to the owners or the occupiers before entering the premises. They will submit a Form G to the owner and the occupier before entering the premises. Now, Regulation 8, Bracket 2 of DC Rules 1991, the work should be carried out subject to the inspection of CFO, without which your OC will not be granted. Regulation 12.2 of Development DCPR 2034, work should be subject to inspection by CFO, without which OC will not be granted, and the commissioner will only issue occupation certificate and building completion certificate after the clearance of CFO. So your occupation certificate and your building completion certificate are linked to your fire norms. Now, fire alarms, like I told you, आपके building में आग लग गई है, आपको दूसरों को intimate करना है कि there is a fire. What are you going to do? You are going to first go rush towards your fire alarm when there is a fire outbreak. The first thing you will do is intimate others. The simplest way to do is press the fire alarm button. But wait, क्या आपने पहले कभी ये फायर अलार्म बटन यूज किया है? क्या ये चलता है आपकी सोसाइटी में? आपको ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है, वरना आपके पूरी उम्मीद पे पानी फैल जाएगा. As per Part 3, Section 12.2.5 of National Building Code 2016, it gives provision for the fire alarm by stating that the building plan should include the details of these fire alarm system network. कौन से लास्ट टाइम कभी आपने पर्टिकुलर फायर प्लान का नोटिस किया था आपके प्लान्स में? Regulation 5.3.6M of DC Rules 1991, it states that the details of the fire alarm system has to be submitted inside the plan. Regulation 10.3.610 of DCPR 2034, it states that the alarm system has also been included in the plans. This clearly means that सभी rules में लिखा गया है कि आपका fire fighting mechanism system आपके plan में incorporate होना चाहिए, and you should exactly know आपका system चालू है कि आपका system चालू नहीं है. Now coming to आजकल के new high rise, फायर लिफ्ट, ये सब नए हाई राइज में एक कंपल्शन हो गया है जहां पे फायरमैन लिफ्ट होना जरूरी है. As per Part 3, Section 12.2.5D of National Building Code 2016, it gives provision for the fire lift by stating that the plan should include these fire lift and the location and the size of this particular lift. As per Part 8, Section 7.1.1, National Building Code 2016, it states that every wing of a high-rise building should have one fire lift with minimum capacity of 8 persons with a floor area of 1.43 square meters. Under the UDCPR 2020, Regulation 9.29.8, which states that the lift should have a minimum capacity of 8 passengers and it should be fully automated with the emergency switch on the ground floor. आप खुद ही बताइए कितनी सारी सोसाइटीज में आप जाते हैं, आपने कहां-कहां ये सब देखा हुआ है. Or it is also mentioning that sub buildings above 15 meters of height should have a fire lift. DC Rules 1991 and DCPR 2034 in both regulations 5.3.6D says that the location of and the size needs to be mentioned in the plan. In my view, there is also a need to have a fire extinguisher inside the lifts along with the intercom system to inform others in case of emergency. अभी चलो मान लेते हैं कि आपकी मैनेजिंग कमिटी मेंबर्स ये कुछ सुनते नहीं है, so as a member of the society आप क्या करेंगे? I would like to point out one provision of Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act that the managing committee members can be held liable for their acts of omission and commission. The provision is 73, committee, its powers and function, and under 73(1)(ab) of Maharashtra Cooperative Societies Act, the members of the committee shall be jointly and severally liable for all the decisions taken by the committee during its term relating to the business of the society. This means that the members of the committee shall be jointly and severally responsible for all the acts of omission detrimental to the interest of the society, provided that before fixing of any responsibilities mentioned herein, the registrar shall inspect all the records of the society. If the managing committee members have not followed the fire norms and maybe say they have turned a blind eye, then God forbid, in case of fire, if someone loses a life, the managing committee members can be tried in the court of law. The loss of life due to fire falls under negligence of IPC 304. I'm going to demonstrate a 2 minutes video. Please be patient. This is a video from Mumbai MCGM's website of the do's and don'ts in fire. I request you all to peacefully go through the video. The audio is not there. As you can see, the couple is frantically trying to escape their room because there is fire inside. They are trying to take the elevator, which is not the right course of action. Always avoid the elevators when in case of a fire, and utilize the staircase. As far as possible, ensure that you intimate all the others not to use the elevators too. Please note that the fire can be eradicated at source if taken seriously and if the correct procedure of the same is known to you. Now, since we have spoken about the lift, the fireman lift, let me go through some of the lift violations. I would like to emphasize about some violations in lift in general. You will be shocked to note that as of today, there is no act that regulates lift. The Maharashtra Lift, Escalators and Moving Walks Act 2017 is an act which is not yet notified in the Gazette. Once it is notified in the Gazette, the same will be implemented. I'll give you another shocking fact. Occupation certificate is not given without installation of lift. However, license to operate the lift cannot be given unless and until the occupation certificate is received. Everybody knows कि यहाँ पे कितनी सारी societies हैं in Bombay which do not have occupation certificate, but lifts are fully functional. In my view, all these lifts are illegally being operated since the building have not received the occupation certificate. It is alleged that everything in the lift department is Ram Bharose. Flat purchasers normally are only bothered कि मुझे possession कब मिलेगा, मैं कब जाके मेरा interiors करूंगा, etc. And no one is bothered about no one is really bothered about the other compliances. Before 2015, the lift department was a part of PWD, and the PWD was responsible for collecting the yearly inspection charges. Post 2015, the PWD and the energy department has split, and now it is the responsibility of the energy department to maintain the lift department. Regular service of lift is required, and the managing committee can be held liable if the audit and the maintenance of the lift is not done regularly. Just imagine the inconvenience caused to the person who's residing on the top floors. Lift बंद हो गई है, वो थोड़ी नीचे उतर के आने वाले. आप ये सोचिए कि कभी कोई मेडिकल इमरजेंसी हो गई रहेगी और लिफ्ट आपकी चल नहीं रही है. How we service our cars? There is a need to service your lift too regularly. It is sometimes observed that the lift parts are so loose कि आप एक साइड में पंच मारोगे और लिफ्ट आपकी रुक जाएगी. आपको ये जान के हैरानी होगी कि कभी-कभी लिफ्ट के बटन्स भी नहीं चलते बरोबर. Imagine a claustrophobic person who's stuck inside the lift, and what will be his situation? If you are not wanting to imagine the claustrophobic person, just imagine your senior citizens or your parents or maybe your handicapped friends who are stuck between the lift, between the floors in the lift. Sometimes the intercom is also not functional. If you are stuck in the lift, it may be very difficult for you to connect and call someone, as you might even face mobile network issues. In such scenarios, only God can help you. The electrical inspector has to inspect the lift on a regular basis. आप बताओ, आपने आपके सोसाइटी में लास्ट इलेक्ट्रिकल इंस्पेक्टर को कभी देखा था और उसने कभी लास्ट इंस्पेक्ट किया था आपका सोसाइटी का लिफ्ट? कभी कभी तो यहाँ पे भी देखा गया है कि सोसाइटी की लिफ्ट अगर अटक जाती है तो लोगों को आधे माले से जंप करके नीचे बाहर आना चाहता है. अब कोई यंग आदमी रहेगा या यंग औरत रहेगी तो डेफिनेटली को जंप मार के बाहर आ सकती है, बट थिंक अबाउट कि कभी कोई प्रेग्नेंट औरत अटक गई है अंदर, कि कोई हैंडीकैप आदमी अटक गया अंदर, उसकी सिचुएशन क्या रहेगी? Is it not the moral duty and the responsibility of the society and its managing committee members to ensure that all the compliances are in place? Why should any member suffer? Going ahead with one more example, what if the lift gets stuck? Do you have any kind of generators which can help the lift to function and operate and ensure that the people are not stuck inside? अभी लिफ्ट को लेके काफी सारे सोसाइटीज में काफी सारे इश्यूज तो होते रहते हैं. काफी लोग मेरे पास यूजलेस इश्यूज लेके आते हैं कि मेरा फ्लैट रेनोवेट हो रहा है, मेरे लेबर को वो लोग अंदर जाने नहीं दे रहे, लिफ्ट में मेरा सामान नहीं घुसने दे रहे, बोलते हैं सामान अपने स्टेयर से लेके आओ, आपके विंडो से ऊपर लाओ, एक्सेट्रा एक्सेट्रा. पर कभी आप लोगों ने ये सोचा है कि जो सामान आपका बाहर से विंडो से पुल अप होता है, बाय मिस्टेक गिर गया और आपके कोई बच्चे या आपका कोई रिलेटिव नीचे वॉक ले रहा है या खेल रहा है, तो क्या हो सकता है? So I believe, in my view, society should not create any kind of obstacles in terms of labor to be utilizing the lift or any kind of material to be used in the lift for carrying on the upper floors. Why should any kind of financial loss be there to any purchaser of the flat? Just because the society wants to dictate its terms, it does not mean the managing committee can act as per their whims and fancies. Even if going on record, even if there is a general body resolution which states that flat number XYZ is not allowed to utilize the lift, you can always go to the cooperative court and challenge such a order and approach the consumer court for compensation. Now, like I told you, Maharashtra Lifts, Escalators and Moving Walks Act 2017, it is going to come into force after being enacted. Let me go through some of the provisions of Maharashtra Lift, Escalators and Moving Walks Act 2017. Section 11 clearly stipulates that lift cannot operate without a license. Section 13 says that the right to enter any building for inspection of lift and the lift installation, any government officer can come at any given point of time after giving a reasonable notice to the occupant and enter the building and inspect the lift. Under Section 15, the report of an accident, whenever an accident occurs in the operation of any lift, which has resulted in any kind of injury to any person or any member of the society, there is a need to report such an incident in writing to the electrical inspector of lift. Many of us have not even heard of electrical inspector of lift exist karte hai ki nahi karte. Section 17, periodical inspection of lifts should be done. At least once a year, the authorized representative, that is the electrical inspector of lift, should come and inspect your lift. The Section 21 talks about the lift which are in unsafe conditions. There are many societies in Bombay. आप हमारे जूने कोई भी ये DDR का ऑफिस देख लो, DGR का ऑफिस देख लो, मल्होत्रा हाउस देख लो, काफी सारों में लिफ्ट जो है वो काफी जूनी हो चुकी है, and it is high time that we have to renovate such lifts or install a new lift, because such lifts, if they are operational, can lead to a loss of life. Now, insurance. Section 23 will talk about the insurance. After the installation of the lift, the owner and the occupier are supposed to ensure that every third-party insurance must be taken to cover the risk of passengers. खाली एक चीज बोलता हूँ, आपके पास कोई गेस्ट आया हुआ है आपके घर पे, लिफ्ट में कोई हादसा हो जाता है और उसको कोई इंजरी हो जाती है, कल सुबह अगर वो लीगल प्रोविजन के अंडर आपको सू करने का ट्राई करता है, तो एटलीस्ट आपके पास अगर इंश्योरेंस रहेगा तो वो कवर अप तो हो जाएगा, एटलीस्ट 10% गुस्सा ठंडा तो हो जाएगा. Under Section 24, there should be a logbook and which should be reported and maintained. The owner and the occupier should maintain such a logbook for each lift for at least a breakdown or power outrage or any kind of accident. The same logbook has to be inspected by the electrical inspector every year. Section 27, which is the lifespan of the lift. A lift may be replaced after a period of 20 years by the occupier or the owner. There are so many societies in Bombay. यहाँ पे as per Section 354AB of MMC Act, जब BMC का आपको नोटिस आता है कि आपका स्ट्रक्चरल कंडीशन बरोबर नहीं है, तो फटाफट पूरा सोसाइटी यहाँ पे आता है, सब फंड्स निकालते हैं और अपना एक्सटीरियर रेनोवेट कर देते हैं ताकि कोई एडवर्स इफेक्ट ना आए BMC की तरफ से आपको. बट यही सेम चीज आप इंटरनल वायरिंग के लिए क्यों नहीं करते? ये चीज करना बहुत जरूरी है. इंटरनल वायरिंग, इंटरनल ऑडिट के लिए, आपकी लिफ्ट मेंटेनेंस के लिए ये सब चीजें रिक्वायर्ड है. अब रिगार्डिंग लिफ्ट, लेट मी जस्ट एलैबोरेट अ लिटिल मोर. से आपके लेबर को ऊपर तक आने नहीं दे रहे, और पेटी इश्यूज लाइक आपके डॉगी को लिफ्ट में अलाउड नहीं है. इधर इतने मेजर इश्यूज है अपने लाइफ में जो अपनी जान ले सकते हैं, और लोगों को पता है कि सोसाइटी की लिफ्ट में डॉग्स अलाउड नहीं होने चाहिए, उनको आप रोको. तो लेट मी टेल यू समथिंग, banning of pets in a lift is illegal. No society can frame any kind of law or even punish any kind of member of the society if their dog wants to utilize the lift. There is a judgment of State Consumer Dispute Redressal Commission of Maharashtra in the year 2014 in the case of OLBPS Cooperative Housing Society versus Alvin D'Souza, which stated that the society cannot levy or put any kind of ban on pets using the lift. It is widely reported by several courts that dogs are family and can use the lift for free. One has to respect that the life of animals is short, and pets anyway have a shorter life compared to human beings, and they should not be restricted to utilize the risk. Rather, focus on things which are actually important. Get your servicing done on time, ensure audit आपका हुआ है, etc. Coming on to my last topic, unauthorized construction. Unauthorized construction merely means that erection and re-erection or addition or alteration which is not as per the approved plan and which does not have any kind of approval from the concerned authority. There are many types of notices that can be issued against you by the corporation for violation of PMC, MMC Act and MRTP Act. Section 351 talks about issuing a show cause notice. This section normally deals with issuance of show cause notice by the officers of Mumbai Municipal Corporation. It is to be emphasized that if the work is carried out contrary to the section 374, then section 342 pertains that the permission granted by MMC to construct the premises as per building plan. Please note, this will not be a stop work notice. It is issued when the work has already been completed and the persons are already utilizing it. Offences and penalties for section 351 and 354. The penalties can be invoked by the officer under section 478A. The officer is entitled to remove or pull down any unauthorized work and recover the expenses from the occupant. The penalty that can be levied is minimum 5,000 rupees, which can go on to 25,000 rupees, and this is per offense. Even a daily fine can be levied on you for continuous offense, which is 500 rupees per day. Please note, this can also lead to imprisonment, which will be not less than 1 month and which can extend to 1 year. So before you violate any BMC or MRTP norms, please ensure that you have complied with the various submission or even have regularized your particular unauthorized construction. Section 354 of Mumbai Municipal Corporation Act deals with the notices of removal of structures, etc., which are in a ruinous condition or maybe are likely to fall. It is at the discretion of the officer to direct either repair it or remove it, all those portions which are likely to fall, because they are violation of 351, which is being carried out. Section 354A. Section 354A is basically a stop work notice. ये आपके cooperative housing society में बहुत जगहों पे आपने देखा रहेगा. It is issued by the municipal officer whenever the work is being carried out and without taking permission from the authorities. Work in the nature of, say, maybe extension of balconies, extension of rooms, putting up weather sheds, construction of hutment, carrying out repairs without permission, construction of society office and basement, etc. I may further add that for tenantable repairs like changing floors, painting, electrical work, repairing of your doors, windows, there is no permission required from the Mumbai Municipal Corporation. Offences and penalties for violation of 354A. The officer is entitled to demolish the unauthorized work and recover expenses from the owner or the occupier. 381 of the Act is invoked against a person by whose act the default or sufferance or nuisance has been caused. Now, what are the violations and penalties for Section 381? The violation and penalties for Section 381 would be 2,000 rupees penalty, which may go up to 10,000 rupees. Section 488. The officer, by invoking Section 488, informs the parties that he would like to come and enter the premises of the occupant for inspection, do a survey, execute necessary work. This section also empowers the officer to demolish the unauthorized construction. Please note, it empowers the officer to demolish the unauthorized construction by entering the said premises. And I may further add that until and unless the notice under Section 488 is issued by the officer of MMC, they cannot enter the individual's premises. Coming on to the Maharashtra Regional and Town Planning Act, the violations of 52. MRTP Act is invoked by the officers if he finds that there is a gross violation which requires immediate action and the unauthorized activity is going on in full swing. The same can be invoked even if the unauthorized act has already been done or it is likely to be done. I may add that FIR can be filed and a panchnama by local police authorities can be done. The person can be arrested for carrying out unauthorized work and can even be convicted. 2,000 rupees to 5,000 rupees is the fine and 200 rupees per day or both. And the matter can also go to the Metropolitan Magistrate Court. Let me tell you that Section 52 authorizes the officer to initiate suo moto action immediately after he satisfies that there is violation. इसका मतलब ये है कि आज अगर मैं कंप्लेनेंट हूं और मैं चाहता हूं कि मैं विड्रॉ कर देता हूं, मेरा मांडवली हो गया दूसरे मेंबर के साथ, वो ऑफिसर ये सेम चीज नहीं सोचेगा. He will suo moto at his own will proceed and file FIR and ensure that the violation is reported. 53(1) of MRTP Act. In this particular notice, a 1 month's time is given by the officer to rectify the alleged unauthorized construction done by the owner or the occupier of the said premises. 53(1) notice thoda kamal ka hai. In 53(1) notice, after giving 1 month's opportunity, under Section 44 of the said Act, you can go for regularization. In 1 month's time, if the officer has not, if the owner or the occupier have not gone ahead and regularized under Section 44, the officer can issue speaking order and demolish the same. प्लीज नोट, अगर आपका सोसाइटी का ऑफिस बेसमेंट में है तो विदाउट कंज्यूमिंग द एफएसआई, अगर वो ऑफिस आपका बेसमेंट में है तो ऑफिसर आके वो बेसमेंट तोड़ सकता है. There was one recent example of T Ward in, I will not name the building. There's one commercial building in T Ward जिसकी ऑफिस ग्राउंड फ्लोर के जगह पे बेसमेंट में थी और वो ऑफिस एक डिमोलिश कर दिया है T Ward के ऑफिसर्स ने. I would salute such officers to take some steps so that tomorrow the societies, whoever are planning to create unauthorized construction will definitely think twice. Section 55. This particular section is for removal of unauthorized temporary development. जैसे आपका गणपति का मंडप रहेगा, नवरात्रि की फेस्टिवल रहेगी, आपने वेदर शेड बांधा है, एक्सेट्रा. तो 55 के अंदर द ऑफिसर कैन कम एंड डिमोलिश द सेम. पर ये सब आपके वायलेशंस हो गए जब आप या तो फ्लैट नए में परचेज करते हो या शायद आपने रीसेल में अपने फ्लैट परचेज किया है. जो भी अभी तक हम लोगों ने नोटिस का सुना और पढ़ा, ये है वायलेशन ऑफ एमएमसी एक्ट एंड वायलेशन ऑफ एमआरटीपी एक्ट. इससे आपकी जान को कोई खतरा नहीं है, अनलेस ऑब्वियसली आपका रूफ ऊपर से गिर गया है या आपकी क्वालिटी ऑफ कंस्ट्रक्शन बरोबर नहीं है तो. बट हाउएवर, इफ यू रेगुलराइज द स्ट्रक्चर, यू विल मॉडिफाई योर प्लान्स. अंडर सेक्शन 44, a person has the right to regularize the structure. Obviously, there are a lot of criteria with regards to the same. Your architect will be a better person to explain the same. But in principle, the chief fire officer's permission is required under section 44. The CFO permission, once issued, can regularize your unauthorized construction. This clearly means that आपका plan update हो गया है और at least in case of emergencies ये आपके best interest में काम करेगा. अब आप ये पूछोगे कैसे best interest में काम करेगा, हमारे पे तो penalty आ गई, हमने इतना पैसा भरा, etc. Just think about it for 1 second. अगर आपके घर में फायर आज लग जाती है, अगर आप अटक गए हो, हमारे मुंबई फायर ब्रिगेड के वेरी ब्रेव फायर फाइटिंग men are trying to evacuate you. They will first come to the society and they will have a ordinary plan, which is the general layout, which has been approved by the corporation. They have no idea आपका घर अंदर से कैसा दिखता है, 2 bedroom में, 3 bedroom में, 10 bedroom में, उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. उनका जॉब एक है कि आदमी अंदर अटका हुआ है, उनको उसको इवैक्यूएट करना है without any kind of injury being caused to them. Now, when a fireman enters your premises during emergency, say आपने regularize किया आपका unauthorized construction, they will have a copy of the updated plan because CFO permission is required and the plan has been updated in many departments. So once they have the plan, they can definitely enter your premises and you can ensure that you don't endanger the life of that fireman who's trying to come to help you and not waste any further time. Like I told you, 7.5 minutes mein fire can turn wild. Firemen have a habit of have a certain procedure that they follow. They are not very well versed with the building layout. They only rely on the plans which are made available to them. Sometimes these are the plans of the municipal approved corporation has passed. When we renovate our flats, we shift the walls. Perhaps we never imagine कि अपने को क्या हार्म होगा. सभी तो करते हैं, मेरा घर मेरा पैसा, मैं जैसा चाहूं मैं वैसा बनाऊं, मैं 2 बेडरूम तोड़ के 1 कर दूं, मैं मेरा वॉल शिफ्ट कर दूं, मैं मेरा एनक्रोच कर दूं, मेरा ओपन स्पेस जितना भी है डक को एनक्रोच करके बाथरूम बना दूं. बट फ्रेंड्स, प्लीज रिमेंबर, ये सब आपका जब फायर इशू आएगा तब ये सब आपको काम नहीं आने वाला. जस्ट सोचिए, लाखों करोड़ों रुपए आपने इंटीरियर्स पे डाल दिए, आपने नॉर्म्स ही वायलेट कर दिए, और अगर फायर हो गई कोई दिन, तो क्या ये आपके पैसे और आपका इंटीरियर आपको बचाने वाला है? जी नहीं. I would give certain suggestions and precautions for society and managing committee members. The same are, instead of having one firefighting extinguisher on each floor between so many flats, why not have one fire extinguisher in all lifts, in all lift rooms, security cabins, in society office, in car parking areas, in your electricity distribution room, near your garbage collection area, the commonly used spaces by the society members. Why not talk about to the vendor that I want to purchase in bulk? मुझे 4 किलो का फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर चाहिए, मेरे को 200, 400, 500 क्वांटिटी चाहिए, तू बता कितना रेट होगा. ऐसे भी सोसाइटी में वॉलंटरी डोनेशन देने वाले काफी सारे मेंबर्स हैं. कोई मेंबर अपनी जान बचाने के लिए डेफिनेटली एक फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर स्पॉन्सर कर सकता है. अगर वो नहीं करते तो सोसाइटी अपना बजट थोड़ा सा बढ़ाकर, मेंटेनेंस थोड़ा सा बढ़ाकर ये एक स्टेप ले सकती है. इफ पॉसिबल, मैं तो कहता हूं कि हर एक घर के अंदर, एक पर्टिकुलर फ्लैट के अंदर एक फायर एक्सटिंग्विशर होना चाहिए कि जबकि फायर लगे तो एट द बेस इटसेल्फ आप पूरा उसको इरेडिकेट कर दो. सैंड बकेट्स इज वन वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग. सब जगहों पे सैंड बकेट्स होना चाहिए, स्पेशली वो जगहों पे जहाँ पे इलेक्ट्रिसिटी रूम है, मीटर रूम है. कोई जगहों पे आपने देखा रहेगा हमारे एक्सपर्ट मेंबर्स जो होते हैं, पानी का बाल्टी लेके वो फायर को बुझाने का कोशिश करते हैं, और ये बाय मिस्टेक अगर फायर आपके वाटर ये अपना मीटर रूम या इलेक्ट्रिकल रूम में है तो आप सोच सकते हैं कि ये फायर का क्या होगा. द पंपिंग सिस्टम विच इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. जो बिल्डिंग में स्विमिंग पूल्स है, यहाँ पे पंपिंग सिस्टम इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. Sometimes the water tank for fire fighting system, the builders are displaying it as swimming pools or some water bodies and fountains, etc., as the water is easily available out there. क्या आपने सोचा है कि कभी आपका फायर जब होगा और आप अगर लिफ्ट में अटके हो और पावर आउटरेज हो गया, उसके बारे में क्या हो सकता है? आपको जनरेटर्स लगाना जरूरी है और एटलीस्ट वो मिसहैप से आपको बचाना जरूरी है अपने मेंबर्स को. जब फायर फाइटर्स आपके सोसाइटी में आएंगे, जब फायर आपका सोसाइटी में आउटब्रेक हुआ रहेगा, तो एक इवैक्यूएशन प्लान बेस्ड होना चाहिए जो आपके फ्लोर प्लान के साथ टैली होना चाहिए. It is very important to note that any structural changes, amalgamation, converting dry space, encroaching bedroom, bathroom areas, etc., is not good and it is not advisable because जब एक फायर आउटब्रेक होगी तभी ये फायर फाइटर्स को बहुत डिफिकल्टी होगी आपके फ्लैट के अंदर आइडेंटिफाई करने को. एक्सक्यूज मी. नॉर्मली आपने सुना है कि ऑक्यूपेशन सर्टिफिकेट, बिल्डिंग कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट, बिल्डर ने बिल्डिंग हैंड ओवर कर दी है और ओसी आज तक नहीं आया. इट इज नॉट ऑलवेज बिल्डर्स फॉल्ट, समटाइम्स इट इज आवर मेंबर्स फॉल्ट टू. आके तुरंत तोड़फोड़ करके ग्रिल लगा दिया, एक्सटेंड कर दिया, बैल्कनी खींच लिया बेडरूम में, एक्सेट्रा. तो कहां से कोई भी गवर्नमेंट अथॉरिटी आपको आफ्टर इंस्पेक्शन ओसी या बीसीसी ग्रांट करेगी? सो इट इज एडवाइजेबल नॉट टू हैव एनी काइंड ऑफ स्ट्रक्चरल चेंजेस इनसाइड. Now there is also particular rules for box grill. All of us are keeping box grills. हम कहते हैं कि सेफ्टी के लिए है, पर क्या ये सीरियसली सेफ्टी के लिए है? अगर आग लगी तो एक ही जगह है जहां से आप बाहर निकल सकते हो. फायर फाइटर्स अपनी लैडर लगा के आपको इवैक्यूएट कर सकते हैं. आपने वो भी ग्रिल बंद कर दी है, तो the firefighters will have difficulty in trying to evacuate you. There's one more suggestion I would like to give. Recently, I had gone to one of the 5 stars in Taj Mahal during 14th of February with my wife. Out there, behind every door, I noticed कि इनके पास एक फायर evacuation plan है. ये आइडिया मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा. जबकि एक होटल अपने कस्टमर्स को इंटीमेट कर सकते हैं कि इन केस ऑफ फायर, दिस इज द प्लान, दिस इज द मैप दैट यू आर सपोज्ड टू डू सो एंड यू आर सपोज्ड टू इवैक्यूएट इन दिस पर्टिकुलर मैनर. Why can't every housing society in Bombay, in Maharashtra, even in India, take the advantage of such a plan and affix the same on each floor and if possible behind each door of the main door of the flats? This will actually help each and every member of the society in case of fire. यहाँ पे आजकल हम बहुत एग्जॉर्बिटेंट अमाउंट स्पेंड करते हैं इंटीरियर डिजाइनर्स के ऊपर. जैसे हमारा बजट हो वैसे हम हमारा फ्लैट रेनोवेट करते हैं, वुडन फ्लोरिंग लगाते हैं, वुडन पैनलिंग लगाते हैं, सब करते हैं. पर कभी एक बार आपने ये सोचा है कि वुड इज कंबस्टिबल एंड इट इज अ मटेरियल व्हिच कैन इमीडिएटली कैच फायर? क्या कभी आपके इंटीरियर्स ने आपको ये बताया कि यहाँ पे वुड की जगह और कोई नॉन फायर कंप्लेसेंट जो मटेरियल हो ये यूज कर सके, जो नॉन फायर कंबस्टिबल मटेरियल हो ये यूज कर सके? कोई ये नहीं कहता. एक बीएमसी का सर्कुलर है जिस 2021 का, which talks about additions and alterations. I will share the same shortly if you can share it, please share it. ये कहता है कि every time there is addition and alteration, you are supposed to make a payment to the BMC for such additions and alterations, and the same has to be increased every year. How many of us have ever paid money after paying the interior designer? Have you ever gone and obtained the certificate from BMC? No. But at such point of time, जब आग लगेगी और आपका ये वुड आग पकड़ेगा, तब पूरा का पूरा फ्लैट और सोसाइटी डिजास्टर हो जाएगा. I would request the managing committee members and the members of the society कि instead of majorly focusing on paints, plasters of building, ensuring that 354A of MMC Act is complied, you have to check what is inside your walls. अंदर के वायरिंग का क्या स्टेटस है? क्या वो आग लग सकती है जिसके हमारे मेंबर को कोई तकलीफ हो सकती है कि नहीं हो सकती है? क्या हमने इलेक्ट्रिकल ऑडिट मेंटेन किया है कि नहीं किया है? पर ट्रस्ट मी, जैसे मेजर फायर आउटब्रेक्स हुए जिसका डेटा ये कहता है कि मेजॉरिटी ऑफ द फायर आउटब्रेक्स आर बिकॉज ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिकल ऑडिट एंड बिकॉज ऑफ शॉर्ट सर्किट. तो ये करना मेरे हिसाब से बहुत जरूरी है. एंड फॉर हाई राइज बिल्डिंग आई वुड सजेस्ट द gondolas which are normally used as facade cleaning should be maintained in top condition as they can assist in a very big way of evacuating. There is one builder, I will not name the builder, a prominent builder of New Bombay, in a good development that he is constructed, had sold off his refuge flats, because of which the poor residents are not getting the occupation certificate. अभी ये refuge flat को उसने terrace attached flat बोल के बेचा है. Purchaser बहुत खुश हो गया कि मेरे पास attached terrace है, मैं बहुत खुश हूँ. पर ये ऐसा नहीं हो सकता है. Terrace is a common space of society, and as per the judgment of Nahalchand Laluchand versus Panchali Cooperative Housing Society, common space can only be allotted by the Cooperative Housing Society. Friends, with this, I would like to end on one note. जान है तो जान है. जय हिंद, जय महाराष्ट्र.
धर्मिन, एकदम परफेक्ट. क्योंकि आज हम लग्जरी इंटीरियर में जो आपने सही फरमाया कि हम लोग उसमें उलझ जाते हैं, क्योंकि साथ कुछ नहीं जाएगा. आप जितनी लाइफ का एंजॉय कर लो, जितनी खुशी ले लो, आप उस चीज से खुशी होनी चाहिए. जो जरूरतें हैं इतना ही आप रखें. जरूरत से करेंगे तो हो सकता है वो आपके मौत का कारण भी बने। तो बस
Absolutely,
सावधान
Sunil
रहें।
ji.
और आज
Absolutely.
यस, और आज का जो पीपीटी प्रेजेंटेशन बहुत ही सही, आपने काफी मेहनत की है इस पे, वो दिखाई
Thank
दे
you,
रहा है,
sir.
बहुत मेहनत की है। थैंक यू वेरी मच, आप धन्यवाद। मैं
Thank you.
इनवाइट
Thank you so
करूंगा
much, sir.
मिस्टर फ्रांसिस, चैट बॉक्स में एक थोड़ा सा ध्यान दे दीजिएगा धर्मेंद्र, यदि कुछ रिलेटेड सवाल हो। मैं इनवाइट
Sure, sir.
करूंगा मिस्टर फ्रांसिस। मिस्टर फ्रांसिस हमारे रेगुलर पार्टिसिपेंट है। प्लीज ऑन योर ऑडियो एंड वीडियो। मिस्टर फ्रांसिस, हम रिएक्ट करेंगे कि हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट में से आज हमारा जो वेबिनार था ये कितना अवेयर करता है, एजुकेट करता है और कैसा लगा, हम रिएक्शन लेंगे मिस्टर फ्रांसिस से। मिस्टर फ्रांसिस, प्लीज वेलकम। धर्मेंद्र ये रेगुलर है और मैक्सिमम कमेंट करते हैं। इस प्लेटफॉर्म को ज्यादा ऐसे लोग ही जिंदा रखे हुए हैं, मिस्टर बोम्स और काफी सारे लोग हैं।
Right.
आज का वेबिनार कैसा लगा?
Yeah. It was very excellent, sir. The advocate Dharmin Sampat was a very dynamic speaker, and he has imparted very knowledgeable, crucial information on all the aspects. Excellent. We enjoyed
Thank you,
it.
Gomshi. Thank you, Gomshi.
Yeah. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Sunil ji, I'm also sharing a few PPTs which I have and a few PDF which I'm having, जो आपके दर्शकों को काफी सहायता करेगी। इनकेस किसी ने कुछ लिखना मिस कर दिया है तो हम आपको रेडीमेड प्रोविजंस अपने चैट स्क्रीन में भिजवा देता हूँ।
और महासेवा के नंबर भी शेयर कर देंगे यदि आपसे रिलेटेड कुछ क्वेरीज हो और धर्मीन संपत्ति से रिलेटेड कुछ क्वेरीज हो, आपको प्रोफेशनल एडवाइस चाहिए तो आप हमारे युवा एडवोकेट धर्मीन संपत्ति से कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। थैंक यू वेरी मच धर्मीन। और आपकी आप सेलिब्रेट करें 8 मार्च को प्रियंका संपत जो आपकी वाइफ है, सैल्यूट है उनको कि आपके एकदम कंधे से कंधा मिलाकर जो काम करती है, और आपकी पूरी फैमिली, आपकी मदर की बात करें, आपके पिताजी की बात करें तो पूरी फैमिली एक इस तरह से परिवार की यूनाइटेड है। और ऐसे ही आपके परिवार यूनाइटेड हो और हर एक सेलिब्रेट करें हर एक फेस्टिवल। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
थैंक यू सो मच सुनील जी।
हमारा ध्येय है कि लोग इस प्लेटफॉर्म में ज्यादा शेयर करें और इस वीडियो को लाइक करें। दोस्तों, आप सभी के जो चाहने वाले हैं धर्मीन संपत के, हमारे महासेवा के हाउसिंग गुरु रमेश प्रभु जी के, विनोद संपत जी के, तो आप इस वीडियो को लाइक करें और ज्यादा शेयर करें। इस ज्ञान की गंगा को यदि लोगों तक पहुंचाना है, हाउसिंग सोसाइटी में हादसे न हो, हाउसिंग सोसाइटी फायर का बड़ा ही इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक बताया, ताज का जो उदाहरण दिया, ताज होटल में क्या नई इक्विपमेंट डाले हैं, क्योंकि जब वो आतंकवादी हमला होता है उसके बाद हुई, उसके बाद से काफी सारे हम नई चीजों से क्यों ना एडा कर। जो चीज बताई है एनसीजीएम को, फायर डिपार्टमेंट को जो मैसेज गया, तो मैं चाहूंगा कि आप हाउसिंग सोसाइटी के लोग, तमाम जो लोग जुड़े हैं, वो ऐसे जो चीजें हैं वो जल्दी से जल्दी ज्यादा से ज्यादा एक्सेप्ट करें और अलर्ट रहे, जागरूक रहे। मैं आप सभी से यही शुभकामना करता हूँ कि आप स्वस्थ रहे, मंगल हो आपका दिन रविवार का आज का, और हम ऐसे ही जुड़े रहेंगे। आप सभी का धन्यवाद, साथ ही हमारे धर्मीन संपत साहब का।
थैंक यू एवरीवन।